Right, here we are, face to face.
Face to face, finally.
Welcome to the opening part or segment, depending on how we deliver this. Review of the album, A Bible for Survival in an Ordinary Life. Produced, recorded, delivered, and made by Tim and Woody around 6 to 7 years ago now.
2016, I think it was finished.
2016 when it was finished. So we made around 10 to 11 songs. They were recorded in chronological order mostly, especially the first 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded them to start with in a very small studio called Catman Le Boogie,
Mm-hmm.
which is where we were a little audio engineer helping out people doing things. You were an audio engineer. I was I don't know what I was.
Doing nothing really.
I was just Tim, just turned up and thought I was going to be a musician. This is pre-Miyako, when I was a Domino's driver, and you were doing your audio degree?
I was in, I was at university. 20.
You were, yeah.
It must have been.
Because
Yeah,
I
I was
remember
in
when we were on
university,
song
yeah.
5, you were finishing your exams and you were doing a jiggery pokery trying to get through it with your coursework.
Oh yeah.
That was good times.
How
So,
many songs are on the album?
I think there's 11. No, there's 12, including the little instrumental one.
Okay.
And then there's a few songs, backing tracks that never made it into songs, but we won't go into those. So what we're hoping to do is to talk about the songs one by one, let you listen to the songs one by one, and hopefully just spread the wisdom of the album a bit further, because it is an album that's quite in sync with things we've talked about, I think.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm. So, cue the music. So, song 1 is called Motions. We recorded this song first, and it very much ended up being what we always wanted the album to start on. I think that's right.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think one thing that I think we've always kind of looked at for inspiration is like Kavinsky's music, Night Call.
That's what I wrote down. Yeah.
And I think we kind of hit it with that song, like just randomly out of nowhere.
And we tried to hit it since. We've always tried
to get there. But
how can we make it a bit more Kavinsky?
Yeah.
So a few of the things. So, did we use the Kurtzwerk for that?
No. For some bits, I remember.
I think originally we didn't, but then we perfected it.
Yeah,
with back
Kurtzwerk.
here at your house.
Yeah. So I think it started on the MS-2000, the Korg.
Yeah.
Which is basically started with the ARP.
And there's a guitar going.
Then there's the power chords that we recorded in the studio. I think basically the whole structure of the song, bar from the last chorus and the middle 8, or the breakdown before the last chorus, was basically done in one day, like the bare structure of it.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes they're our best songs when we get the structure done first. That's something we always struggle with, is if we make a verse and then we think, oh, we love that verse, and then we can't find the chorus for it, or vice versa. But with this one, we were lucky enough to find the whole thing. And I remember...
Probably because it was so simple. It's the same thing throughout the whole song, except for when there's extra synth in the chorus.
One thing that was different with this song from some of them is that we had the vocal booth at Catman Boogie.
We did, yeah.
Which was great in a way, because I felt like I was a music star. I felt
you in the mode.
As soon as I was in that
booth.
I
felt like a proper engineer in front of that desk.
Yeah, it says something, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Which is interesting compared to a lot of the other songs we've had to push through because we haven't had that space.
Yeah.
I think a few of the songs later on we'll talk about the little box room we were recording in, but it does help having a creative space to do these things in. So I think for all of the songs, the lyrics aim to be somewhat thought-provoking. I've never tried to touch a song and think, oh, let's just get words that rhyme or just make a pop song. I've always tried to put something in it. So this one talks in particular about what I felt at the time, which was coming out of university and first realizing that I was no longer just a passenger in a train in this world, whereby I could just sit there and the world like I had these excuses, like I'm at school or I'm out in the world, I'm thrown into the pond, and sort of noticing what I would say a stagnation in politics and ideas, wanting a sort of revolution but not seeing one. And that was where I first really started to call that out, which is why I like it as the first song. It reminds me a lot of Muse, actually. I think the way the lyrics and the song tries to take a swing at the world a bit. And that's why I always thought it was a good song, one.
So I remember when you was writing those, I remember, again, that this was another song, well, not another song, we haven't spoken about any other songs yet, but this was kind of the start of the flow of the album, that where songs were being pumped out, not only in terms of their actual music backing track, but you was also pumping out lyrics. Like I think you wrote those in like an hour or something.
Yeah.
And I remember you just going into the recording booth, said just hit record and we'll just do it, and we did it. And I think at the time, I think a lot of what was going on in the world was, I think the most notable event that was happening at the time was like the Syrian refugees coming into, like, getting on boats from Syria, landing into Italy or Greece or something, and just like entering the country. And I always seemed to, I don't know what it was about the lyrics, but it always sort of put those sorts of things into perspective. Like the futility of what us Westerners believe the world is, and not actually, and the corruption involved, and the media not taking necessarily the right side every time.
Yeah, I think one thing that when I listen back to it, I hear is that it's almost like this isn't working for us. A main part of it being politics. I think one of the lyrics is the parties are all the same. And I liked that lyric because it made me think a little bit about how I could go to a party and see my friends, but at university and before that it was all fun and games, but afterwards it did feel like a sour sort of taste, like, okay, I can party as long as I want, but I can't be a Domino's driver forever. This has to go somewhere. But on the other side to that, there was also the political side of the parties all being the same, whereby, you can vote Labour, you can vote Conservative, you can vote for something different, but you're almost voting for the same, in the sense that you are saying that government, parliament, MPs, the whole structure is working, democracy is working. But I feel like democracy is kind of a word that's misunderstood or misrepresenting what is actually delivered through democracy. And I think another thing that happened on this album was that this was around the start, or the seeding start, of Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, kind of.
Which is kind of where a few of our other songs start to get perhaps a bit more hopeful, and then they disappear
Tail
into
off at the end, yeah. Much
turmoil.
like Jeremy Corbyn did.
So, not just to focus on the lyrics there, and a final touch I'd like to say is I think this song has a good representation of us trying to use sound effects, and a lot of the things, as I remember always banging on when we were doing about how everything had to have a purpose.
Yeah.
And Woody is really good, so you might hear a car noise or something in this sound, and it's all fair and well me saying, oh, I want a car sound, or Woody saying, oh, I'd like this sound, but one thing you do is you panned the sound effects so it sounds like the car drives past you. So when you listen to it, don't just actively listen to the lyrics, listen to the production as well, because I think it is probably one of our best produced songs.
Maybe.
You know more about that than I, but I listen to it and think that. And yeah, I think that's Motions. Anything else?
Not really. I think that's it.
Have a listen.
change no more. A level in the sea. Things don't seem to change no more. No change for you and me. Things will stay the same some more. What difference can you see? Things will stay the same some more. Our innocence still I'm going through the motions. I'm going through the motions. They don't seem to change no more. The parties are all the same. They don't seem to change no more. They're sticking to the grain. They should start to care some more. Look what has became. I'm sure they'll start another war, sending bullets to our brains. Will we follow forevermore, or will we break our chains? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going through the motions. I'm going through the motions. I'm going through the motions, locked down inside